What's up YouTube, Josh Roof here with Golden Ratio Content, and today I'm going to give you 5 awesome but unconventional, outside of the box writing tips. Alright, let's go ahead and kick it off here with our first point, which is variety of life experience. William Faulkner said, a writer needs 3 things: experience, observation, and imagination. Any 2 of which, at times any 1 of which, can supply the lack of the others. Notice that he puts experience at the top of that list. Variety is the spice of life, and specialization is for insects. Joe Sugarman, one of the greatest old school copywriters out there, has some great thoughts on the subject. Basically, he says that our minds are like giant computers. Every experience that goes into your brain, whether it's good or bad, becomes more program material and data to recall and assemble in new ways in the future. Remember when the first Apple computers came out with their big 64 kilobyte memories? You might also remember the slow speed and the poor graphics compared to the high-powered personal computers we have today. Today's computers are faster, more efficient, they can accomplish more, and can interrelate information faster and more easily. So it stands to reason, the more we've experienced, the more we can draw upon when it comes time to relate those experiences to new problems or opportunities. There is nothing really new in life. It's simply a matter of taking previous pieces of knowledge and putting them together in a unique and different format. Matter's not created and destroyed. Everything on Earth that was here a billion years ago is pretty much here now. The only difference is that it has taken new form. The more you have in your brain from experiences and knowledge, and the more you are able to interrelate the knowledge and come up with new combinations of old material, the greater an idea person you will be, and the more powerful you'll be as a copywriter. Now, of course, Sugarman was writing to copywriters when he wrote this advice, but it's pretty obvious that that applies across the board. It doesn't matter what kind of writer you are, whether you're a blogger, a copywriter, or a online magazine writer, it doesn't matter. That advice applies to all writers. And that brings us to the second point, which is know yourself. The ancient Chinese General Sun Tzu said, know your enemies and know yourself, and you can win 100 battles without a single loss. If you only know yourself, but not your opponent, you may win or you may lose. If you know neither yourself or your enemy, you will always endanger yourself. Studying your competition is always a good idea, but I'd like to focus on knowing yourself. The reason knowing yourself is important is because everyone has a unique personality that hundreds of thousands of people will enjoy, and that includes you. Unfortunately, not everyone learns how to write in the way they talk every day because they don't know how to find their writing voice. Knowing yourself is the first step to finding that voice and learning to write in it. So I've added this all in my video about how to find your writing voice, so I'll give you the quick and condensed version in this video. First, find your personality. If you could choose one vehicle that would best communicate your personality, what would it be? If you had to wear 3 sets of clothing to express your personality, what would they be? What are the top 3 foods you would be if you reincarnated into a culinary dish? Number 2, using the answers you chose from those questions, describe yourself in 3 words. Number 3 is pay attention to how you talk in everyday conversation and compare that with your writing. Ask yourself, is this how I talk? If it's not, fix it. What are your favorite books? Do the authors of those books write in a voice that you'd like to emulate? If so, study their voice as you read. What are your favorite hobbies? What are your favorite sports, your favorite pastimes? Choose the word that best describes your favorite activities in life and add that to the description of your voice. And then the last thing that I've got on that subject is you need to ask yourself, what emotions do you feel the most often? Add those as well to your writer's voice toolbox. All right, for the third point that I've got here, we're going to go into James Bond mode, and that's because it requires you to spy on people. Is that creepy? Maybe. But when you eavesdrop on people, you learn a lot about dialogue, which is important whether you're a fiction author or a nonfiction writer. Pay attention to their pitch, their body language, their volume, Subtle hints of emotion such as the speed of communication, eye contact, and hand movement, gestures. Number 4, make your life a brief horror movie. I exaggerate a little bit when I say that. Maybe thriller would be a better genre. I'll put it this way. If you're truly dedicated to your writing, there's nothing like a truly traumatic experience to catapult yourself outside of the box. However, if you're like me, you'll prefer to push yourself outside of the comfort zone and into the success zone without crashing and burning in the perilous death zone. If you're afraid of heights, climb a tree or a rock climbing wall. Work your way up to a mountain. If you have Emily Dickinsonism, reclusivism, whatever it's called, and you're afraid of people, make a point of talking to 3 random people today. If you get embarrassed easily, walk into a public place and just lay down on the floor, looking up at the ceiling. Don't explain yourself. Don't look back at the people watching you. Just do it for 30 seconds or so, then walk out. This is a great exercise to train your mind that you are not normal, and that's okay. When you get over yourself, over your pride and your insecurities, you'll be able to conquer anything, and that includes writing extremely well. What does this have to do with writing? I think that's perhaps a question you're asking yourself right now. Confidence, boldness, intestinal fortitude. A writer who writes with the unashamed pluck of a person who makes the local Starbucks floor a lay-down ThinkPad will inevitably see success. All right, the last piece of advice I have for you today is point number 5, don't be a book racist. This is not my advice at all. I got it from Chuck Wendig's awesome book of writing advice called The Kick-Ass Writer. About a book racist, he says, those who write books are occasionally book racists. They pump their fists and espouse book power while denigrating other forms of the written word. TV will rot your brain, they might say, as if the Snooki book will somehow do laps around an episode of The Wire. Books are not the only form of the written word. You may not even want to write books. Branch out. Watch television. Watch film. Read scripts. Visit great blogs. Play games. Don't be a book racist. The storytelling cults can learn much from one another. All right, well, that's it. That's all I got for you today. If you enjoyed, please like and comment below, and stay abreast of my latest writer's tips, tricks, and tutorials. Subscribe to the channel. Hmm.